All right, on this Grizzly 550, we have 12 10mm bolts here around the outside of this cover. We will pull these bolts. We're going to replace that belt, remove those clutches, and we will go ahead and lift this clutch cover off of there. There's a seal around here on the inside here that's going to keep it sealed, so make sure you don't damage that area here. And we're going to pull this cage. We've got 10mm bolts all the way around that cage. Here's your secondary clutch, here's your primary clutch. Four bolts to remove that cage. Now this shaft right here, which is actually coming off the crank there, is going to go into this housing. And so a lot of times if this bearing is bad in this housing here, this shaft will stay on there. This will be very difficult to pull. That's aluminum housing there. So here's your movable sheave, and on the back is your fixed sheave for this clutch. And then what we'll do, first, what we want to do is put 2 bolts into here, into the secondary sheave. And then you run them in. And what that does is allow your belt to go all the way in. Okay? So it opens this clutch up, so you're able to push the belt all the way in, and that takes all the pressure off this movable sheave. You wouldn't have to, if all you're doing was removing these clutches, you wouldn't have to do this step where you run these bolts in. But if you're going back together or replacing one of the other clutches, replacing the belt, you're going to want to do this, otherwise this nut will not go on all the way. This is just a regular threaded nut, so put that on. But the thing about this nut is, the threads are back about 1/8 of an inch to sit right down on top of these splines here. So if you do not put these 2 bolts in, push this belt to take the pressure off here and push this down, your plate here will be sitting on these splines. This will not seat all the way with the threads being back there, and this clutch will come off every single time. So you want to make sure that you spread these clutches just like that. And then you put Loctite on these threads and washer and put this on. If you do not put this down, this clutch will come off and you'll break parts. Okay, so take this off, pull this off here, and I hold it all together, and this clutch should be smooth. Okay, this will come out here. This slides back and forth. This is your fixed sheave here. There is splines on that shaft there that will hold this to the motor. Now here's your belt here. We can pull this belt off. And this belt looks good. And then we'll just be able to pull this fixed sheave off. Trash has got down there from the intake duct over here. So there's your fixed sheave there. Your secondary clutch is here. And that's just regular threads. There's your secondary drive clutch. Now we've got 10mm bolts all the way around the outside to remove this inner cover here. So that's the clutch on the 550. here is the inner cover.